Okay, great. So what we'll cover is what information we've added, what's more to go, what we want to do in terms of permissions around who can edit access and what we want to do around that, set up the rules for the students, as in how many courses they're going to pick, and just basically go through the process.
Yeah.
So from your dashboard here, you can just click on to the public pages and it will open up here and we'll see that we haven't made anything visible yet. And I'll show you how we can do that. Back to here, I think we'll start with our rules or settings first. So down in our settings area, we have our course selection settings, and most of this should be right. But what we want to do here is we're picking the next year, so 2025 timetable year. And what else? Oh, right. Importantly, here, we want to show, where am I looking for? Who do you want to be making the actual course selection? Just the student and or the caregiver, or just the caregiver?
If it's both, does that mean the student can make initial selection, but then parents are alerted to approve it?
That's regardless of both. So if it's no, it means the student makes a selection, the caregiver, based on this next setting, can get alerted to the fact that they're done or they're doing it. And they go in and at any time they can approve a selection choice and or write comments around that choice. Now, if the student's making their selections, let's say at year 12, they're picking 6 courses, and the student goes in, they pick 5 courses, and then the mum goes in and approves 4 of those courses. The student then can go and change the 5th and pick the 6th. But the caregiver approval process is almost like a first step of the locking process. It means that they have a conversation. So if they've picked, I don't know, geography level 2, and mum goes in and approves that, then they can't opt out of it. So sneak off to the room and make their choices, but they could come back and say, well, mum, I've decided I'd rather do history rather than geography. Mum can remove the approval and then do that. 90% of our schools have this set to the students make the decision.
So that sounds good. Yes.
Yeah. If you have it both, the student can still make the decision, but the caregiver can go in and be a little bit of a helicopter parent and go and change it and pick the choices that they think is best. But that doesn't involve the conversation, just means they do it.
No, put it back to no. And then the next one go yes.
Cool. All right, so that's great. And you can come and change these at any time. So if we get halfway through the selection process and we decide, right, we need to reevaluate that, give me a call, we'll talk through that and what the scenario is.
Okay.
Now, I haven't looked, but whether you've added any costs or equipment on the courses.
I'm pretty sure we haven't got any because we don't do fees and stuff.
Yeah. So, if there was, so let's say level 3 digital technologies required a specific type of laptop or device, you could add that into the equipment field, and then that would show there on the summary screen for the caregiver. So, right, I'm approving them into level 3 digital tech. Oh, heck, hold on. That laptop is worth $1,800. We just can't do that, or whatever that scenario is. If it's empty, nothing shows. Right, and the other one is when a student comes in to do selection, we don't let them make any selection choices until they've indicated, are they returning back to New Plymouth Girls next year, or are they leaving and here are the destinations you can customize. If they select they're leaving, we don't let them make choices by default, but you can override that. Right, and the last one that really matters is allow students to select the priority.
Now, that's important.
Okay, easy. It just means that when they pick it, they can say, right, I'm picking it, and this is my very first choice, this is my second choice, this is my third choice, this is my last choice.
When we export this out eventually to whip it into Kmart, can we sort their choices on their priority?
It automatically, so for this year, while we can automatically write that information back into KMAR, it will write them into KMAR in their priority options.
Perfect.
And when you search up a student, here we go. When we look at their courses tab here, it will see in their priority. So you're having a conversation, you might be using the parent-teacher system or just having, catching up with students. You can see the choices they've picked, the order they've picked them versus their priority.
Okay,
Everything
cool.
you get is a snapshot here.
Yeah.
Right, let's go back to here. That's that. Right, and then the next part is basically turning it off and on for different year levels and setting the number of courses that they're going to pick per year level. So let's start top down. And year 13, how many subjects do your students study?
5.
Okay. Do you, in the past?
Yeah, 1.
1, easy. Cool.
So they option number and backup courses to be selected after the. So they choose 5 subjects plus 1 backup.
Yeah, correct. Great. Now you'll see here, this is actually year 13 for year 14, which you probably won't get many. So we just repeat the courses for 12 going into 13.
Yeah.
And how many in year 11 going into 12?
They picked 6 and 1 reserve.
Okay. Now, with the reserves, it's much easier to set that at a higher number and say to them, pick at least 1, than it is for them to set it at 1 and then you not being able to run and then get them to go back. Just something to think about. If you've had problems with filling classes or staffing classes, I would increase that by 1 for no harm. But
we don't generally. We generally ask them for 1, and on the very rare occasion where they can't accommodate their reserve as well, they get spoken to.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then let's look at our year 10s going into level 1, 6 and 1.
Same, 6 subjects with 1.
Okay, and then current 9s going into 10.
3 options plus. I feel like it's 2 reserves for them. No, it's only 1. 3
What
options
about
plus 1 reserve.
Compulsory courses? So at year 10, I
They
assume
don't get any choice. They've got to do English, math, science, social science, all that. Their options are arts, languages, technology type subjects.
Okay, so what I recommend is we include their compulsory courses in this, and we have them as compulsory, so they become pre-selected. Now, the benefit of that, especially in the first year, is as a year 10 or year 9 student or a year 9 caregiver, I log onto the system and I can see courses like English and maths and science, and social sciences and health, but I can't pick them. Yeah. And they're not picked for me. So it creates confusion on, is Danielle doing these things, or I can only pick arts and things. So if we have that as compulsory, it presets them and it makes it really clear.
Okay. So I'm thinking, Jill, you can help me here. They do English, maths, social science, PE, health, and 3 options. Have we missed anything?
6.
I'm just going to look up a typical year 10 student. We don't actually have any typical year 10s here. But I feel like they're doing that's one of the options. That's science, English, social science, and maths. That's another option. That's PE, health.
Because that's 7 5s, 35.
They're not all. They're 5. Each of them are 5.
These are 7.
That's 7, 7, 7, 7. That's not, and that's not.
Combined, are they 7?
2, and that one there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So combined, that's 35, and this must be 15. Is it 5?
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah. So we've got it right. Yep. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subjects plus 3 options. That's 9.
Cool. All right. Looking at, I also did just typed year 10, picked the first year 10 student, and it looks like we've got health, PE, social science and science is 4, maths is 5, English is 6.
Don't count Kauai.
And then you've got your Kauai and your co-requisite. So then you've got your 3 options down here. So that makes sense to me.
The co-rec, what's that about? Why is she in there?
I don't know. Is that something around the common assessment for level 1? She's doing an accelerate class.
She's year 10. She should. Don't know why she's in there. Go to another year 10.
Sure. So I can just use this to pick the next one. She's in it as well.
It's been loaded.
Yeah. It's because she's doing the standard. She'll be doing the CAA on Monday. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's not a subject, that one. Don't count that. No.
Yeah. So you're using it as a timetable option to see who's been entered into it, as opposed to like a Kmart group or something.
It's not in her active timetable. It's one of the offlines, like line 15 or 20 or something.
Cool. All right. So you were right there. So I've gone back here and I've set that to 9, which was our 6 and 3, and then 2 backups. Yep. Great.
Make it 1. Just go with 1 backup for now. We can change it later if we need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then you probably won't get your pre-enroll students in there. So
can you just turn that, because we're currently using the Kmart enrollment form, it just automatically converts across somehow. So you're But so what I'm wondering is, actually, interestingly, I could probably put a link to this in the Kmart enrollment form for parents to select, for enrolling parents to select subjects, right?
So all you could do is create a link for them to view the information. So they'd get to
they get to our public page,
here, and then they'd be able to say, right, here is my year 9 English, here is my year 9 Shape Future. It's not a year 9. Whoops.
No, okay, it's probably easier for now while we're figuring this out just to turn that element off, I think.
Oh, where have I gone on that tab? Yeah, okay. So so they probably wouldn't need to. I mean, absolutely, as a pre-enroll student, they'll come through this public interface here and they'll look at the courses you're offering.
Yeah.
But they won't be able to select until they've gone through the enrollment process.
Yeah.
So you could say to them, as one of your 10 custom questions, copy the code from your year 9 courses here. And you could even potentially set up a year 9 option grouping here, which is quite common. So you'd say, go to this particular screen here and tell me the names of the 3 options you want to do.
Yeah, we could actually do it as part of the enrollment interview as well. Or we could change our processes and not have the enrollment interview about subject selection. That could be to talk about it, but then they could go away once their enrollment's been processed and select their subjects.
Yeah, as soon as they're in Kmart, even with the 2025 start date, they can come in here as a year 8 and then pick it. Now that is when you do that as a separate process, and that's when you turn it on that the caregivers can pick, because the students won't have their Microsoft School emails at that point. So it'll be the caregiver coming in. So absolutely we can, when we get to that, we'll go through.
So leave that out of it for now. If you can disable that aspect, that'll be good.
Yeah, so they're off. In fact, all the years are off. But what we're going to do is when we're ready, we'll turn on a year and log on as a student and look at that process.
Yeah.
So I've set those numbers and that's good. And that's basically our initial setup done.
Yeah.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to go across, where are we? The public view. So I've gone to the public view. So they're going to land on this area here where you've got your learning areas.
Is there a link to this on our website now? Like, has it replaced the old PDF booklet that's on the website?
Oh, it's not yet. Not until you're happy and ready to make it go. Okay. We'll add a link from your website. We'll add a link from the staff dashboard so that as soon as they go there, they can start looking at that information.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so then they'll come into here. Now, what we can do next, and this is purely up to you, is we can assign permissions that the head of careers or the head of English or multiple people within these departments can come into their side. They can come into this public side. So firstly, you could add a link to here on the staff dashboard and you'd say to them, like, go in, have a look at, this is how the community will see your area. So come into health and we can set up some health, some descriptors. I don't know if this is going to be a good example or not. Okay, already it's not. So they don't have any descriptors on their learning areas or anything like that.
So they can add overarching learning area descriptors, eh?
Yep, so let's see whether Cameron's done that. Nope, okay. Okay, here's potentially a better example. So we go into, say, English, and you can see they've actually explained it. Or they might have put, no, maybe commerce. I know that, oh yeah, there you go, videos and things. And so you can describe the whole learning area as itself. And whether you let the head of the learning areas in to do that, or whether it's something we do with you. So that is in our learning areas area here. Now, this is the next part to work through, hence why I came this way. What we can see is all the learning areas that came through when we imported your markbook, whenever that was. And we can see down here, business studies, over on the right is active, which means it's in that list, great. And then if we look down a bit, we see correspondence school, it's inactive. So that means there are actually 14 courses there, but they're turned off from the student seeing them. And we can turn that learning area on or off if you like. What we also see here is a snapshot of how many students have selected in it, of course, none. And then we have our rules for each learning area and each year level. So when we looked at our year 10s, we're saying they're picking 3 options. Now, what we could say with that is you've got a dance and a drama learning area, and that you might also have like a visual arts. Yep, visual arts. So at year 10, they might have to pick maybe no more than one art, which could be a visual art, a dance, or a drama. Or you might say they can pick no more than one technology. So we can actually go into the learning areas here, edit, and here we've got our details. So I've got tutor, not technology. Where did that go? Yeah. Right, click the right one. We've got our learning area name. So we could call that one digital tech, but of course it might not just be digital. Here's where we change the status. So active is active, the rules apply, and it's in our list over here, which is technology. We can have it active, but unlisted. Now, what that means is it doesn't apply here, but any rules will apply, like a maximum of 1 technology. Now, the reasoning we have that is you might create the arts learning area and assign your dance, your drama, your music, and your visual arts to both their individual areas and the arts. And then you do a rule on the arts to say you can pick no more than 2 arts, but it could be a dance or a drama or a health. Does that make sense?
Yep. We currently don't have those rules, but it's good to know that we can add them in.
Yeah, you name it, we can do a scenario that is going to solve, any type of, you might get a student that goes and picks dance, drama, and painting, but no, they're not getting a cross section of no technology courses, no sports courses, etc. So it stops those. You might say you can pick a language, but you can only do one language. You can't use Karao, Japanese, and German, and then not any arts or technologies type things.
Mm.
Right, and here's where we put in our technology learning area description. Oops.
Yep.
I'm just going to clear that out so we don't have my bad spelling. Okay, the site features we're going to come back to, but we've turned on the logical ones. We're going to look at what we call rules. So here are those rules. So we look at our current year, so our current year 9 is going into 10. We might just set a maximum there of 1. I know you don't have those rules, but we'll see now here, technology, not mathematics. We've got year 9s can pick technology, but they can only pick 1 if we were going to go down that route. Now, we don't have that rule, so we can bump that back up, and you could have it higher. If the other way to do this is to say they must pick at least one technology. Now that could mean they've got the three options and they have to pick a technology or a art if we grouped all of those arts. So you might have a minimum on those two, and then it wouldn't matter if they picked another technology or another art for that third option. So the minimums work just as effectively as the maximums.
Yeah.
Now, the next one you're going to come across is, let's say, English. So at year 10, year 9 going into level 1, we could say they must pick an English, which means they've got to pick an English. Now at year 10, there are two ways to do a compulsory English at any year level. Now you could say here, you've got to pick one, and then there might be 2 or 3 English options they've got to pick from. So you might say, right, you've got a general English, you've got an accelerated English, and you've got a ESOL. And then it's up to the student which of those 3 they're going to do. So that's one option. We say a minimum here, and they go choose from the right English. They'll only be able to pick from those 3. And on the ESOL, we could put a rule saying you must be doing the year 9 ESOL in order to pick the year 10 ESOL. So that would automatically eliminate that, and they've just had the 2 accelerate or standard English. And then you could say, well, on the accelerate English, only these current year 9 subject lines, so 9 ENG with Mr. McFarlane, can pick the accelerate level 10, therefore it reduces that as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but we only have the one English course now, right through. Yeah.
Cool. So that is perfect. So that's where we go to next. So you can do those across your different learning areas, but now we're going to go to courses. So Jenny's already set this up, or maybe you've done it, we've set here, year 10 English is compulsory for year 9. So we've already done that. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now the 6 we talked about. Yep, there, which are your 6 compulsories. So as soon as we turn on course selection, well, at the moment it's off. So if a year 9 student logged on, they wouldn't have any courses picked for them, no problem.
Yeah.
The second week of term 3, Wednesday, you stand at assembly and say, right, now log on and pick your courses. Then you're going to get a flood of year 9s log on, and it's going to then assign these courses for them. Yeah. Now, we do it on log on because that means you can instantly see, right, we've got 186 year 9 students and 143 of them have courses. So that is 37 or 6 46 that haven't gone in yet. So after a week, that number might be down to 10, and it's easy to go and chase, right, here are my 10 year 9s that haven't done any selections.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. So then what we've got is our current year 9s get those 6. Our current year 10s get 3, English, maths with algebra and stats, and science. So taking up 3 of their 6.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. And at level 1, we've only got English. It's compulsory.
Correct, that's right. Yeah. The only thing is, Sheldon, is we call them level 1 English, level 2 English, level 1 science, we use levels rather than year in the senior schools. Is that easy for us to change?
Yeah, so that's fine. That was a question Jenny had that I was supposed to ask you. So yes, that's fine. We've got a bulk course change, but I can actually go through and say anything that says year 11 swap for level 1.
And anything that says year 12, level 2, and year 13, level 3.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Don't worry about it now, as long as it can be done.
Yeah, easy. Anything can be done. There's nothing that is set in stone. So let's go on. What subject do you teach?
On that, right?
Yeah, do. I've never been stumped completely yet. So what subject do either of you teach?
English.
Chemistry, physics.
All right, well, let's do English because that was the first response. So let's go and pick that level 1 English here, or year 11 English in this scenario.
Yeah.
So you can see here, there are multiple through, because when we import it from your mark book, we get everything. So the next stage, what we can do is I want you to go to this courses list course details screen. And I want you to look through all the courses, just scan down this. You can sort by codes, probably easiest, and make sure that everything that is not going to ever be an option for students to pick is hidden, and anything you want them to be able to pick is active. So if you see we've got 2 textiles, if you were going to run, if that one was different, or you're never going to run this animal and plant success, you just click on that badge and it changes that. Then you're going to tell me, right, I've done that, and I will clear out all the hidden stuff. The reason is from your mark book, we get all sorts of years worth of junk.
Yes.
And we don't need all that, especially when you get 10 Englishes that come through at a certain level. E-N-G, oops, with a W-E-N-G-L-I-S-H. So you say, right, I've gone, I've checked, delete anything that is hidden, and then I can just bulk do that to do that.
Okay.
Now, what we're going to look now at the level 1 English here. Oh, so we can just click edit beside it, but looking at these columns, we can see, right, our course name, which is editable, our code that will write back to KMAR, so it is 1ENG, and that can be changed anytime, even after course selection. You might decide you're going to change it to 11ENG here, that's up to you. Won't affect the selections. It is selectable by current year 10s, and you can have courses that are multi-level and more than 1 year level can select it. If I clear out my filter, we have a restrictions column, and I doubt, oh yeah, we've got a couple set up. So what you see here.
Yeah, we don't have many, we've moved away largely from any sort of prereqs, so we will have to check those. You're right about the 1 apps. I think the prereq is 10 apps. And there are a few, but not many. Basically, our courses are all open.
There are a few set up. They're all level 3s, or mostly level 2s and 3s. Yeah. But they're really easy to go and qualify here. So let's go and back to English. All right. Year level. So this is the grid line for the sites module, which I'll cover later. And so far, this is worth 47 credits. I've still got to go through and remap or check all your standards, but that's easy to sort out. Timetable lines is how many of the selections it takes. So at level 1, they're selecting 6 courses. Do you have any courses like hospitality or anything that takes up multiple timetable lines?
Okay. One.
If you did, we would set that as 2 or 3 or 5. Like a school does a trades academy course where it takes 5 of the 6 and they just pick a 6th course, but we don't need that.
See, some of the students who are doing vocational studies do a 3+2, but I think for now we'll leave that out until we get better at it. But I can see that we might be able to embed that into here and use this as a way of selecting as well. But we'll just park that for now because we're looking at changing the structure a little bit around that too.
Okay, absolutely happy to talk around that, and I'm sure I'll be able to solve that for you. Right, the next one, grid, that is when we write it back to KMAR, or when we provide that data back to you, where it's going to go. So into the 1 to 20 lines in their priority that they pick it. So English, they have to pick, so that will be first. Then it might be PE, then it might be health, then it might be drama, etc. And then the backups go into the backups spot. Sometimes your junior options might go into the 82s, so you'd be able to set that would be 82 here.
So what we don't put in the timetable grid is the English, maths, social science, PE. So like for the year 10s, we would only write back to KMAR the 3 option subjects.
Perfect. So that's fine. So you see the S here, that actually means skip. So we still set those up and we'll go back and we'll make them in here, but we don't write them back to KMAR. So that's easy.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to do that one for this year 10 English we've got up here. So I'm just going to open up the edit screen in another tab. We've got all our fields, which I'll cover on the level 1 English, selectable by year 9s. Our rules here is it's compulsory for all year 9s, and I've missed that. No, I don't. And timetable line here. So we just go skip importing. So that will mean
Perfect.
that's it. Cool. I save that, and then that will be fine. So the next column, percent complete. This is purely optional, and it's an internal indicator of how much is done on it. So when we import it from the markbook, it comes in at 10% because very little. Jenny's gone and done set everything that she needs to at 50%, and now that's at a point where anything at 50% is ready for you guys to start casting your eye over and make sure you're happy with it.
Yep.
You don't have to then do anything with that from that point, but it's really useful. And then here will be a live number as students start to select it, that will increase. This one, they'll all go into the left side of the slash, so it's their core option, but and non-compulsory subject like a drama might go into both core and the alternate or the backup count. So you can quickly see that. And it's active, and that's a toggle to just click, and then we'll get into it.
Easy. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, right. So at the top, we've got some stats, and obviously these will all be empty until we open up course selection. So this will rapidly increase. How many year 10 students have you got?
300.
400, 300.
Right, so this number will hopefully sit somewhere around the 300 to 400 mark, where because all the students have gone and they have to pick it.
Yeah.
So that will indicate there quickly how many students have, because it's compulsory, get automatically selected. None will pick it as a backup because it's already picked as a compulsory.
Yeah.
But students can go in there now effectively, and they can go into here and go into English, and they'll go into year 11 English, and they'll get a favorite this course button. So as soon as you're ready, before course selection is even open, you can say, right, I want you to go in, log on, have a browse around, become familiar with it, and you won't have a select course button yet, but you'll have a favorite. So they'll be able to actually go through and work out, right, I've got, at year 11, I've got 5 choices, and these are my 5 or 6 choices, and build up a shortlist. And you'll then be able to see, right, on level 2 chemistry, I've only got 6 students that have favoured it. So I hope I'm going to get a class enough to teach that, if that's the class you teach. But then that number will be reflected. It also means that when they come in to do the actual selection, they just go to their favourites page and go bang, 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 if they want. Right, and then exemptions. Now, exemptions work if you want them turned on, that if there's a student that can't pick this for whatever reason. So we've got our year 10s compulsory, they're in there. But you've got a really clever year 9 student, they want to jump ahead, they might have been doing year 10 curriculum already, they would request an exemption. Or you've got a year 11 student that is really struggling, they can't pick it because it's currently selected in the current timetable course, but they could request an exemption. They have to enter a reason. So Kaylee might say, I want to do year 11 English again because I'm finding it challenging, but I'm really enjoying it. So can I do this again? Then the head of English or you would come in and review those and have a discussion or approve or remove or whatever you like.
So that could work for students because we don't run extension programs as such, but if a student coming into, say, year 10 wants to do level 1 English, they could then apply for that, right? And that could be considered approved. Yeah.
So that works really well for all sorts of scenarios. Languages most commonly, but sports and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Right, our course name. So this, can't work a computer, level 2. Our code, so,
Level 1.
Level 1, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. All right, our code 1ENG, and here's that gauge. So here you can just pick, and you can actually customize your own labels on what each percentage means.
Yeah.
So you might go through and think, right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put everything at 60% once I'm happy with it, and then get the head of English to come in and then check. So we're going to do that one, and you say to, let's say Barry is the head of English, you say to Barry, right, I want you to go in and I want you to look at any English course. Oh, sorry. Right. So you're head of English, you're going to come and look at any English course at 60%. And then once you're happy with it, put it at 80%.
So it's really,
Now, if you're halfway through checking it and a student comes in, you get distracted, just smack it onto 70%, save it, walk away, and then you know next time come in, right, I'm halfway through that one. So it's just a good indicator of where you're at. And each year we can bulk set that back down to that value or any value you like.
Mhm.
So we're going to put it on there. Right, don't worry about subcodes. That is the year it's aimed at, and I'll show you that on that sites area. And the primary learning English area is again for that sites feature we talked about. But looking at those arts courses, we have learning areas. So English, that's easy, it's going to sit in English, but this is multiple select. So this might also sit under correspondence school, and it might also sit under learning skills for whatever reason, or it might be a module. So you can see here that now we're actually in multiple learning areas.
Right.
If I save that and I go back to the
the other
individual
screen.
course,
Yeah.
did I save that? Go tabs. Where was I? Yeah, learning areas. I will be able to find that in those different learning areas now, whichever they were. Although it looks like half the rest are off. All right, so we'll go back into there and I've got our level 1 and we'll be able to see that.
Yep.
Right, but in this scenario where we don't, we'll deselect all and just go English. So that's how you can group those arts into about arts and music. Right, Jill, here you go, teacher in charge, that's you. It is selectable by current year 10s, and you can do rules. So if we want to multi-level that way, that would mean they wouldn't request an exemption, but that makes it really messy. So I'd rather do it just.
How do you turn on the option? How do you make it so they can they request exemptions on anything?
Anything that they can't select.
Okay.
So you can't do a rule on a year 9 student could request a year 13 subject as an exemption. We don't do any like multi-step rules, or you can't pick anything too far out of your age range.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they can pick it, they can't request an exemption.
So say for example, so Schoolbridge knows that this kid is currently year 10, and when they start looking through the different departments at all the possible subjects, and they think, oh, I like the look of level 2 chemistry next year. Schoolbridge knows that they can't just select it, but if they click on it, it becomes a request for an exemption.
Yeah, so let's go and look at that now. So I'm going to go and pick a year 10. And again, we'll use the first one here. And I'm going to open this in an incognito window, so I'm not going to get logged out. So here we can see I've got a conference very soon. Cool.
Yeah.
And we can go across here. In fact, this is already on once they're logged on. So we can go into English. And what we do is we highlight at the top, right, you're a year 10. So these are the courses.
This is what you should be choosing. Yep.
Yeah, this is what you can pick from this group. But this doesn't stop Ryder here from going into 10 English, which she is currently timetable for. And there would be a request exemption button here.
So let's go back to your choices.
Yeah, so if we go back.
So let's say young Ryder decided she wants to give 12 English a crack.
Yeah.
If you click on that, somewhere it should say.
Oh, because course section is off, which she doesn't have that option. So she can favourite.
It would say request exemption.
Yeah. So if I was to quickly go down to here, she is year 10, enable and disable, current year 9, no, current year 10, turn on, save. What we're going to see, too many tabs here, is, I did an incognito window. Right, here we go. What we're going to see here is, not that one. Learning areas. English. We will see now English is already checked because that's a compulsory course. So it's already got a check. We can see here it's compulsory course that's done. But if she wanted to go back to English and say, give me year 12 English, we've got this request. And then she can go in and say, can I swap 11 ENG for 12 ENG.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
And that will
That's-
request that exemption.
That's good,
So-
isn't it? Yeah.
Then she's got view selected courses, and that shows here the courses that are compulsory. So we've already got these applied.
So she doesn't have to select them. They're already on her schedule.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
correct.
And it knows
Um,
it's occupying 3 of her 6 spaces already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if English was a 2-line subject, it would take 4 of the 6.
Yeah.
So then she has view courses for me. So this screen here, which we'll add to this sidebar, this goes and looks at every course and finds out just the courses she can pick. So Jenny, she has set that Year 10 social studies is able to be picked by Year 10 students, which is incorrect.
Yeah.
So this is a great thing to check at each year level. And we're going to go through and find courses, list course details, and the code for that is 1SOS, 1SOS,
Was it the 10?
and we can see here 10 SOS. Oh, so this might be just named incorrectly. This is probably 1 SOS should be level 1.
Is that the level that says Year 10 social studies?
Right, but the code is level 1. So I think she's named that one wrong. Let's have a look at, selectable by Year 10. That makes more sense.
Oh, yeah.
And if we scroll down here, it's got these level 1 standards attached. So it's just that name was wrong. So I'll take that back. Let's close out some of these. Okay, so we reload that one. That's correct. And she can select that because it is a level 1 course. Now, if she goes back to learning areas and business studies and 10 business studies, she can't. So she's got that request exemption.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And you can see down the bottom, she's got a list. She's got 3 of the 6 courses, and she can see what's there. And she hasn't picked that one, so she might pick drama, go in, pick it, bam, and it's taken up that spot. So it's really easy.
Cool. So what we probably need to look at how or what the next the next steps for us are checking that we've got all the right courses loaded and checking that the details are correct and we've hidden this, like you've asked us to, hidden the things that are not required. But the next thing we probably need to do then is get our HODs in there, adding comments about their learning area and checking the descriptors about their subjects and checking the standards are right for the senior ones. Can
I just clarify, you've taken the standards over from KMAR, not from our curriculum booklet?
Correct. Imports from the Mark book. I have done a bit of tidying up. So if we go to level...
I can see, for instance, with the English one, because it's mine, that level 1, we've got all the old standards and the new standards. So it's not just the curriculum. You haven't just loaded this from the curriculum booklet. So HODs will need to go in and do some editing here.
Yeah, so it's easy to do this. So you just click the trash can on the ones you don't want.
Yeah.
And then just search and put them back in, eh?
Yeah, so I should have kept one there. Do you know what a correct level 1 English standard is?
90925.
So 90925 26 27.
But I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see it's easy. Oh, that's not the right one. That's biology. So we just won't save that.
No new numbers, aren't they?
2, 3, something.
Level 1 is what you're looking for. You are probably wanting something like.
Here you go.
91924.
Oh, yeah. So you just 9124 25 26. It's that easy.
27. I can play with that.
Yeah. Now, once you've got that in there, what you can choose to do, fully optional, is you can then go, once you save it, you get this additional information button. What that lets you do, is you can extend the description based on how you teach this. You can indicate if it's optional, or rather if this leads on to further assessment, or if it's optional. And you can potentially say, I'm going to assess this in term 2, week 3, and week 4.
So this is stuff we're going to teach our HODs to do.
Yeah, I can put a how-to guide together.
Yeah. So then what we do is when we go and find, that is level 1 English there. We can see we've got our standards table here. We can see we've got our extended description, that it is optional, and you can customize this, the optional message it shows, and you can build up almost a template for the assessment calendar that you're already starting to use. Now, the benefit of doing this is next year, at the start of the year, you can automatically convert all of these into the assessment calendar template. So it sort of pre-builds it for you each year.
Good.
And then you just go and modify it.
With the, say it's a junior course and we're not doing achievement standards and we have a description about the course, can we also put like say we've got a topic test and we've got a folio they might do, we might have, can we just create non-standards, I guess, like assessments and put blurbs about them?
Right, so where you do
say go to year 10 English or something.
Right, so let's go and find 10G here, edit. So where you do that one is you have there's 2 options. We've got the credit table will be typed in that standard number, or you can do assessment information. This.
So is it just a description though?
Yeah, this one is.
Yeah, this one. That's easy.
Or you can use what we call the Cambridge paper table, where you can just write assessment number 1, and it's an internal.
So like you can do that as your topic tests.
Yeah, and then do that way, and then you can just add a couple that way. Now you can rename that label from Cambridge paper, so that's not going to be a problem. All those labels are customizable. So when they're looking at that one, it shows your assessment description and then your topics down that way.
That's cool. Yep. No, that we might actually adopt that, but we'll Jill can make that cool. Yeah, that looks good. Right. Now, what about the
Let me just take that off before I get distracted, and I will take off that, delete, and save. Right, so let's do permissions now, because once we set the permissions up, it's easy. So we go to our users area.
So I have done a bit of work in permissions, but I don't think I've set up a specific permissions group for the HODs.
Okay, cool. So let's have a look here. Teachers admin. Okay, so we've got a head of learning area group, but there's only Eddie in it. And let's only show this permission group. So this is quite handy. So we can go down and see here, they can manage their assessment calendar, which we don't want. We want to go into our course selection area. So what we want to do here is we want to say we want to be able to edit the learning area description.
Yeah, so what if we can avoid it is we don't want them to be able to tutu and mess around with all the learning areas. Can it be so they can just do their own?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do that one, and we set this here to manage their own one only.
Here we go.
We don't want them to do. Sorry,
can I jump in? So have you taken the names that you've taken? Is that from last year's curriculum booklet or from KMA? How have we got new stuff on? Or
I'll show you that next.
That maps with KMA directly, so it knows all the stuff.
Well, yeah, that is slightly different with this, and I'll show you that next. We don't want them to edit the rules, the minimums and maximums, because that confuses them. We don't want them to add courses. We just want them to edit them. And we don't want them to delete. We don't want them to do any limits or rules or anything like that. So really, that's all we want. Maybe you want them to do the equipment, but probably not.
Yep, if there is, they could put that in. There might be. I don't think there are, but there might be, like our digital arts course might require there might be a cost for licensing or something. I don't know. Yep.
Gotcha. And what you can do is say, right, you've got till the end of the first week of the term 2, term 3 holidays, and then you just come in and flip the switch here, view only. And that just means they can now see everything without making any further changes.
Right. And then any changes have to come through our administrator or something.
Correct. Right. Right.
Leave that set up. That's good.
You can choose whether you want them to see the students who have selected the courses.
Yeah.
And whether you want to give them the ability to move those selections. Now, how that works is if I look at...
So they think Pride Rider's not actually up to level 2 English, they could bump it back into level 1.
Yep. So here I've gone back to Rider here, and I've gone to her selections or courses tab, and here are the choices that she's made. So this is an admin view. But in the course itself, so Kim, head of English, comes in, oh, someone selected my course, woohoo, I'm going to run it. And they can actually click on to that and see who and when, and if the caregivers approved it. And that would be all the permissions I've got at the moment, other than this one. They can toggle that they're happy with that choice. If we give them the ability to move and remove, then they've got these two buttons here. So one is change.
So they can change it to the right course. Yep.
Yep. Enter a note that the student can see, and then it will move that selection on. So what it will actually do is it will mark level 1 as removed. So here it would then mark it as removed, and it would add level 2. So you'd actually
will it notify Ryder and her parents that this has happened?
Yes. So you tick this one here, and it will notify. You can even allow them to contest or comment on that. So that's that. I'm not going to do that one. So that's moving, and removing is almost identical, apart from they're not selecting another course. And again, it soft removes. So if you remove Ryder from level 1 English, she can't go back and re-pick it. So if she's picked your chemistry class and you just don't want her in because she's a right pain, you could remove her and it will leave it here as a removed course. You'd actually have to come back in here and then double remove it, which would then allow her to re-pick it if you wanted to.
So let's leave that option off for now.
Yeah, good idea. I think
because it's not our, neither of us really have oversight of that part of the process, but now that we sort of know how it works, we can talk to the person who does, and it is definitely, I think, something we should use. Yep, without a doubt.
What I'd recommend is when you're early, later this term, get a class that you've got and just say, hey, I'm going to open it up for you guys just to go and have a play, and nothing matters, so we'll clear out after. And then you get that one class, a chemistry or English class or whatever, and they'll go and they'll actually pick some things or come up with some scenarios and they'll pick it, and then you'll be able to go and see both sides of it, and then we'll just clear it all out. Yeah, that's a really common thing to do. Or you can leave it in there, but I'd say not. All right, and that's all they need. Actually.
Okay, so now we have to, how does Schoolbridge know which human is the head of which department?
That's not Schoolbridge. Sadly, that's us. So we've got to go in. Let's not do Kim. So who's the head of learning area? Not you guys.
Julia Stevens.
Science. Julia Stevens, yeah.
Okay, so Julia Stevens here. We go into her profile, and we say here, because our learning areas here don't necessarily ever need to match Kmar's learning areas ever again. Because if we create a new arts, we could give someone access to that, and that might be different. They'd have access to all of the arts as opposed to just drama. Yeah, but we'll go into science here.
Science. Yep.
And then we want head of learning area.
Sweet. And that's easy.
So we just need to do that to you 10 or 12.
So that's added into that group.
Yeah. And I can actually go and test, right click into an incognito window. I'm now Julia. And Julia's going to come across to here, and you see she's got less actions. She'll go into here. She can see compulsories, which doesn't mean anything, but she's got view courses by learning area, and she just has science. So she can't see anything outside of science.
Yeah.
And once we've cleared out these duplicates, that will avoid confusion, and she'll be able to come into Year 9 Science using this % complete, go in and work out, what she needs to change. There's a few things that are missing from her screen that you have access to, but otherwise she can come in here and do that. Now, the pathway is really useful. She can just go and pick where this leads onto. That save.
Yeah, that's quite important, eh? The path, setting up pathways. That's for the. So we need to do a little job card for our HODs, right? Yeah.
If I go into Year 9 Science, you see we've now got this pathway. So with the pathway, you only pick the next step, and then on the next step, you pick the next step, and it builds that up dynamically.
Now, have you created us that well, I don't know what you call it, the thing that becomes part of our website that maps our whole curriculum, and you can click on.
Yes.
What's the word I'm looking for, Sheldon?
Oh, we just call it a study path.
There, that's the one. You've created.
So here we've got this one here, and this. Once we've got all the courses set up, then this is where we can come and really adjust this.
Yeah.
So this
and
basically
this essentially shortcuts us to that department learning area, the subject area, right?
Yeah. So this is effectively every course on one page. So the great thing with this system, the previous part where we've been saying, is really detailed. So I can go into my different learning areas and programmatically work my way through, or systematically rather, go and say, well, I want to do a PE course, and these are the ones, and it's quite step by step. This screen here is everything. So I go down here to physical education, and I am a year 10, so I can see that these are my year 11 courses.
And then if I randomly wanted to start reading about level 1, year 11 fitness and rec, I just click on it, go to that. Yep, and that's taking that, and they're the school point forms, eh?
Yeah, it's all the exact same information. And because we're logged on, they can actually pick this course right from here.
Yeah, that's quite cool, eh? And basically what we've got at the moment will come off our website, and it'll kind of be replaced with that, plus the link to.
Yeah. So this becomes a one screen where I can go and find anything I need.
Yeah. So can you just go back to, no, actually, I think I know how to do it. The permissions. We better just check Jill's got some high level permissions for all this, because at the moment I don't think she has.
Oh, right. Okay, let's go.
So Jill's going to be doing a chunk of this work. So Jill McNeil, with a G.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. There we go. Check Jill's.
Okay, so now you don't have access to this. So 2 options. Adding it to an administrator means you can do everything. Or we create a permission group for curriculum leader or something like that, and give her all the course stuff.
She's part of our senior leadership team, and she's also our she's acting as a DP, but she's also our assistant principal, and I think she may end up picking up a lead on this for a while. So I give her an administrator level.
Can I undo anything that I do?
Yeah.
You ring Sheldon.
I'll ring you.
Yep. Oh, right, Jill. So anytime you've got this help button down here, click that, hit start chat, and then that will pop up in a moment, I hope. There you go.
Yeah, it's like
Emma.
And then we also have a whole range of help guides. So you can type in here course selection or rules or something like that, and it will hopefully find something relevant for you. But just reach out.
And what I've found is this little plug here for Sheldon, and then their help guides are kind of quite easy to follow, not like our friends down the road from them.
Well, that's good feedback. Thank you. So yeah, we
Don't
will.
you tell them that.
Oh, I'm constantly telling them something.
Sheldon, I've got some new courses that weren't in last year's curriculum booklet. Could I send them through to you for loading, or?
Yeah, or you can do it. So either or. So you've now got this brand new create new course button.
Okay, I can do that.
So we go add the code,
add the departments,
add the name, what year level. So that's 11, and where it's going to sit.
Yep.
And you're there.
I don't know whether you put the COREX course into this, because the students won't select it. They get put in it by us when they get to the end of year 10 and haven't passed the COREX. So it's not really something they choose, and it's not even.
Won't we be able to set that up with rules?
Well, if it's something that, so if that's the scenario, you could have a course in here. So what would you, that would be 11 co-rec. I don't know.
Technically, like if you asked our principal, she'd tell you it's compulsory for all year 11s unless they've already passed the co-rec.
Right, so you wouldn't need it here because you would do that probably after they've done. You do it at the end of the year when they've in year 10.
It's part of this. Yeah.
Okay, so you could have in here.
I've got to bail out for about 10 or 15. We've got a group of year 13s meeting with the principal, begging to keep their ball because they have at the moment lost the privilege. So I need to go and join them because
I can keep going.
I'm their support person, but Jill can keep going and I might be back soon. But thank you so much. This is looking fantastic. And
no problem.
But I'll be back.
Good luck with the ball. I guess there's a couple of options. You could have a course set up in the system. So let's go and find one of these inactive ones. Here, let's do this Kawahuia year 10. And you can have it down here in our selectable options here, whether it's viewable only. So that means you could have your co-rec class set up there and have it as viewable only. And that would sit on the system. So they'd see about it as a threat or a warning or whatever that would be. And at the end of the day, then you go, what's that?
We don't use that language.
No, as some guidance to them.
Support and reward.
Oh, okay. As some rewards then. And then at the end, you'd be able to go and add students to that course. But most likely, by the time that you do that, you would have already finished the course selection process. So it may not be useful, but it may. So I
won't have the results till January.
Yeah. So by that stage, you'd just be adding them into KMA. You can have it in the system as viewable only so they can see what it's about, what sort of reward they're going to be getting.
I think the principal would like that.
Yeah. Or the other option to solve that scenario where she deems it compulsory almost is you just set up as a compulsory course but increase the number they're picking by 1. So it's attached to all the students regardless, but it's not really taken up part of their course selection process, if you know what I mean. So they're picking 6 courses at level 1 and English is already compulsory, so that's 5. We'd make it 7 and make co-rec and English compulsory. And that might solve Jackie's problem around it's automatically assigned to them, but whether it ends up an actual thing, it doesn't matter. So it's more of a face value.
Okay, yeah, I've got that. I've got a sticky question. So I think I've answered most of the questions from the acting principal. She wanted to know, can we edit your descriptors and the headings like course description, course overview? You said everything was editable, in terms of labels.
Yeah. So once in your newfound settings, you will have customizable labels. So in here, we could say anything from, I don't want to call my cost. So if we look at, there won't be any courses with that. If there were courses with that cost or equipment field entered, we could have potential charges or equipment. Oh my gosh. And you can see I'm not in English, anything.
But easily editable.
Yeah. So there, I don't even going to pretend how to say that one. So I'll take that out. If you're going to call them, because I think are you subjects, not courses?
I think so.
New Plymouth Girls High School.
It's called subject selection.
I know, it's subject selection everywhere, but curriculum.
It's funny, I should know the answer to that question off the top of my head.
Well, nah. Um, subject selection guide, year 9 courses. See, that's the
Courses.
problem. That there's very rarely consistency.
A little
Anyway,
bit interchangeable.
it is. So we just changed subject booklet, subject there, subject skills, and now we've got plural subject, subjects, etc. Save. Now back.
So I think what she meant is, can you change those labels? Like, or did you just have their course description?
Oh yeah. So
We
if we
can
go
change
into
anything.
yeah,
I don't think we
learning
need to, because I don't think she's understood what's already gone through. So she said, see how it fits with school point layout. What might we need to do differently? But you've taken everything that we had. It looks very much like it looked in the curriculum booklet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't
And
be
the
anything. I mean, the other one is, do you call learning areas or departments or faculties? And let me rephrase that question. Do your students and community call them learning areas, sub-departments or faculties?
Departments.
Cool. Because at the end of the day, the language should be aimed at not so much staff, which is hard for them to get their head around, but the students and the caregivers.
I think they'll want to keep it at learning areas though, because this is the big one. Just some people are very pedantic about the way things look. Is it possible to have the colours matching the NZ curriculum colours? So I noticed the colours you were picking up, there was a nice little lime green and she wants like the same English, the colour of English in the curriculum booklet and the NZ, and then should be match the current NZC.
We
Is it
don't
easy to change?
use
So
colours
on your
here.
learning areas, they all looked red. Can we have different colour blocks?
No, this uses your school colours. So
okay, so that's probably quite a good look. So when I go into English, what colours do I get?
So you've got your school dark blue, a shade of your blue. You've got your school red. The whole Schoolbridge School Point platform is consistently these same colours. So there's no real variation.
Study path. If you go to the study path.
Right. That one, you're right. So that one actually. So let's go back to the site.
Can we change those colours?
Yes, you can. So you can set a colour per learning area, and that is in your learning areas. And you see this badge over on the side, that's the colour. So if we were to edit English and there were site features, we can determine the text and background colour for that. So what would be let's find that PDF on the website. Curriculum, English. So this colour here.
Yeah, I'm assuming that matches the curriculum.
Okay. So let's find that.
But I can see that's easy to change.
Yeah. Save.
Awesome.
And font, and then there's English there.
Okay, I can go through and do that.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I didn't quite get the color. So side by side on a bigger screen, I'd be able to side by side it and do that.
What was that? Sorry.
On a bigger screen, I'd pull one to one side and one to the other side. So that's easy. Yeah, all the language, all the messages are here under customizable messages. So at the moment, we've got one that says disabled. Find here, course section is currently disabled. So you could say course selection will be available in term 3. So given a bit of an indicator there rather than, where did that go? Oh, too many tabs now. So if we go to pick that, we can have there. What I don't recommend is saying term 3, 2024, because you're going to come back in 2026 and it's still going to read 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can basically change a whole bunch of messages here.
So don't year date messages.
Yeah, I'd make them as generic date-wise as possible.
Cool. And she also wanted to know a time frame of when we would have things done behind the scenes, but it looks like it's already all done.
Yeah, most of it's done. You guys can do the checking of what subjects can be deleted, and I can clear all that out when you're ready. There'll be more questions, so it's down to you guys now to go through, have a play, and then come back to questions. But we're here, we're ready to help you when you're ready with questions. As I said, you're effectively ready to go and test it with a class. You could get them in, and they'll give you feedback and find what information does make sense pretty quickly. One approach is emailing out the public link, so this link here, to your staff. They don't need to log on before they need to make changes, and they can go and look at it from this side. And that's what I'd say first. Go and have a look at your learning area and the process as a student would see it, and then worry about giving them edit access. So you can effectively give them access to that today to say, go and have a look, and then next week we'll give you edit access.
So what did you say? I'd give them a link.
Yeah, I'll put a link into the chat, which probably will stay on Brett's. Or actually, if you're happy with that, I could put a link on your dashboard here. So here's your dashboard that staff are seeing. What I would do is I would say, edit the dashboard, get that out of the way. I'm going to go and, we've already got that. So I'm just going to add an icon. Course selection student. I'm just going to do straight to here. Course selection preview. Make it some eyes and save. So doing that means I've got the Zoom window in the way. This course selection preview icon is right here, and we can easily turn that off. So you could say to staff, go to your dashboard, which is good, gets them to here, click on that course selection preview, and then that's there. So just have a look at your courses, make sure we're not missing too many, make sure you don't see anything obvious, and then make some notes, and then next week you can give them access to actually edit it. But it's more about how it looks from the student side than their side.
Cool. I better get Brett's approval on that link being there.
Yeah, I will just turn it. I'll make it what we call inactive. So I'll just click on that, and he just needs to go in and turn it back to active if he wants it, and then save. And then that means it's now gone, but it's easy to turn back on when he's ready.
Looks good.
Cool. Did you have any other questions?
Well, I'm pleased it doesn't look like it's anywhere near the work that I thought it could have been. I didn't realize you were going to manage everything. When did you start working on it?
I think Jenny started on Monday or Tuesday this week.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So, I mean, a lot of the system, no, I won't take away. She has done a good job and a lot of work, but it is a lot of copying and pasting once. And once it's in here, it's just a matter of maintenance, and it becomes nowhere near as big a task as what anyone thinks. And then we go to open it up, and then we go into the reports, and we've got a ton of reports and everything like that. So this is where it will become useful come term 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it's a seamless process with the subject selection. I don't have any more questions for you, Sheldon, and I don't know how long. I suspect Brett's meeting will go twice as long as he predicts, because the kids have made it very well known about the after ball party that they're planning, which of course we can't allow. So,
of course, no, exactly. Well,
and
that's fine.
Recorded this so he can watch the ending.
Yeah, I've recorded it. The first thing for you guys is to sort out your learning area assignments, so permissions for your heads of learning areas, and then go on that list subject details and make sure everything that's off you want gone and everything that's on you want kept. Let me know, then play, and then come back to me.
Yep, I've got my list in order. Oh,
Beautiful.
don't forget I have to do the colours.
Oh, yes. Okay, and I'm going to